Alright guys, Hazink here, welcome back to the channel. So, today's the day. The final reveal was here for the Nintendo Switch 2, the device we've known about for so long, and a while ago we got quite a lot of official leaks or previews of what we could expect. And today came and a lot of that was confirmed, as well as a few extra features, and the things that most people were interested in, which was pricing, pre-order dates, release dates, etc. Now, right off the bat, the cost of the device is a little bit higher than what people expected, but ultimately, I don't really think it's too bad considering it is updated hardware, more power, stuff like that. It's only slightly more than what a Switch OLED cost at launch, but it's not really drastically bad. And it does look as though the best value purchase is going to be getting the Switch along with this game you can see on screen right now, Mario Kart, okay? However, there does seem to be one massive issue that could become quite a problem for the entire gaming industry going forward, especially from a consumer's point of view. Now, you may have seen, you may not have seen, the pricing of the games is wild. It's just absolutely wild the way they're going about this. We'll use this game here as an example. Mario Kart. They've finally listened. One game company has finally realised that digital games probably should not cost as much as physical games, because obviously physical games have manufacturing costs, they've got production materials, things like box art, cases, all that type of stuff. So it would make sense that not having that stuff, you could probably sell the game for a little bit less. And Nintendo are in fact going to sell digital games for less than the cost of physical games. There's a slight wrinkle in that, however. They seem to have not got the memo, because they're actually going to increase the price of digital games to, for Mario Kart by example, $79.99. This is dollar pricing. Euro pricing and pound pricing is very similar, but they're going to increase the price to $79.99, which is up from the average at the moment of $59.99, $69.99. But if you buy it physically, it's going to cost an additional $10. So yes, digital games are going to cost less than physical games, but that's not before they've jacked the price already. Now, why is this a problem? For a while now, you've had companies like Capcom saying, we think games should cost more. And the reason they think this is because games are costing more and more to make. If you're at all into the gaming industry, however, you will know that as gamers, we kind of recognise that these bloated budgets are why games tend to not be that great. We have a lot of bad games that come out and they cost hundreds of millions to make, and it's because they're filled with a lot of things that people don't want, people don't ask for. People just want good quality games. They don't necessarily care that you've signed a movie level actor to come in and be face scanned and they're taking like 10% of the gaming budget. Nobody cares about that. They just want good quality games. So the reason that game development budgets are so inflated is not necessarily the consumer, it's actually more the developer. Yet the developer expects the consumer to pay that cost. And the reason why it's such a big issue now is we already know that these companies have been wanting to do this. They've just all been scared to go first. With someone like Nintendo actually doing it, however, they're setting a precedent here. And if they actually go ahead and there's not enough maybe kickback against this that makes them change their mind, but if they go ahead with this, you're going to find that other companies are going to see the data, they're going to see that people were willing to pay $80, $90, £70, £80, whatever it ends up being, to purchase these games. And then you're going to have companies like Rockstar, who have the greatest selling game of all time in Grand Theft Auto 5. They're going to look at Nintendo charging 20% more than the average game for Mario Kart, and they're going to think to themselves, well, how much can we charge for GTA 6? I mean, if they can get away with charging almost $100 for their game, we've got the biggest selling franchise of all time. What's to stop us selling our game for 100, 150, whatever? There becomes no limit at that point. And the thing about Mario Kart, as an example, just look at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They sold a lot of DLC. This is not something that's magically going to disappear. So the final cost of the game, you're going to end up with your season pass, your track passes, your extra costumes, and all that type of stuff on top. So ultimately, paying 80, 90, for a game is not going to be your final cost. Because as people know, to get the full and complete experience, you want all the tracks, you want all the racers, and this is just the beginning of it. So I feel like this is going to be something that potentially sets a dangerous precedent for the gaming industry going forward, especially because it's Nintendo. Nintendo, historically, Nintendo fans purchase Nintendo games. The Switch had probably one of the highest adoption rates of all consoles. People want Mario, people want Zelda, so people will pay this. Even though there is outrage at the moment about this pricing, this will go ahead and be one of the best-selling consoles still, despite the fact that the games are going to be overpriced, and that is a worry in itself. The other worry you have is Nintendo do not discount their games. Mario Kart is about 10 years old at this point, if you count the Wii U version. Mario Kart still costs like $50. They don't put the price down. Nintendo are completely Scrooges when it comes to giving discounts. When it comes to the likes of the PlayStation 5, Xbox, etc., first party titles, after 6 months, 7 months, you can usually pick them up 25-30% off, and then after a year or so, quite often you can get them at 50% off, etc. You tend to not find that being the case on Nintendo. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll find $5, $10 off the likes of Zelda, off Mario Kart, but when you're starting from a point of your game costing almost $100, then even with that discount, if they continue the same behaviour that they've historically shown across all of their consoles, this is not just the Switch, then we're in for a really rough time as gamers. And I get it. The Switch was huge. The Switch was massive. People are going to be excited for this regardless. Especially kids who don't have to worry about paying for games. It's their parents that have to pay for games. But for a machine that's ultimately, if we're being honest, targeted towards younger gamers, it's absolutely wild to think that they are going to be charging this much for games. And the reality is, people were upset when games went up to £60 on average, or $60, $70. I don't know exactly how to convert it from pounds to dollars, but there was a big uproar. People were not happy, and Nintendo have just taken it up a notch again, and physical collectors are being expected to pay £10 more, $10 more to get the game actually on a physical cartridge. And the problem is, Nintendo themselves have confirmed that a lot of these physical cartridges are essentially placeholders. You're going to put the cartridge into your device, and it's still going to have to download it from the internet. So it means that the thing in your box that you're paying £10 more for, you're still going to have to download the game anyway. So why are you paying £10 more? It makes absolutely no sense. And while I get it, I totally get it, people are going to be excited for this. They're going to be wanting to get this console. But you're going to be paying for it big time. And again, if this sells gangbusters like people expect it to, and if the games pop off and do really good numbers with regards to sales, then other companies are just going to say, alright, well, what's to stop us charging $80, £80 for the next Street Fighter? What's to stop us charging X amount for the next Mortal Kombat? Well, maybe not Mortal Kombat, because that kind of sucks these days, but you get my point here. They're just going to take their highest IPs, your Final Fantasy 7s, things that they know people are invested in, that they are willing to buy, and they're just going to jack the price. And this is going to set the tone for if that's going to work or not. And to me, that's not really a future we want as gamers. The current economy, people are struggling for money. Games are already a luxury at this point. How many people are actually going to want to be in a situation where they're forking over 90 for games? I just think it's absolute madness, and honestly, I kind of hope it fails. This is no hate against Nintendo and the Switch 2, but it succeeding is bad for the industry. Ultimately, it's bad for the industry. It failing, however, is good for the industry, because then it shows them that was a mistake. We shouldn't be trying to charge that amount. It's too much. People don't want to pay it. But if it goes the other way, then it's all the validation they need, and they'll just continue to churn things out at a much higher cost to the consumer. And are you really getting that much more for your money? I don't think so. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is this going to be the new future of gaming, where we're expected to basically pay the price of a console a couple of years ago for simply buying free games? that's what we're talking about here. Let me know in the comments down below. I've been Hazink. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.